Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is directed by Stephen Herrick. It stars Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves. And this is the story of two teens, Bill S. Preston Esquire and Ted Theodore Logan, as they are sent on a journey through time to grab historical figures and bag them, as they like to say through the movie, so that they can pass their history presentation in order to pass high school and save their friendship. Jumping right into things, I actually believe that this movie has a pretty compelling call to adventure for both Bill and Ted. If you're unfamiliar with the term call to adventure, it just means that in Act 1, what the writer or director of the movie would do is that there would be something that would happen that would cause these characters to get pushed into fulfilling out the plot of the movie. So for the call to adventure in this, there's actually a lot at stake here. If Bill and Ted don't pass their history presentation, they can't graduate high school. And if they can't graduate high school, Ted is actually going to be sent to military school by his dad. So even though this movie is silly, and I think it's a good silly, and it doesn't have to take itself seriously, it doesn't throughout the entire movie. There's no point in this movie where it takes itself seriously, but it doesn't have to. And I think that even though this is one of those movies that is just kind of silly and fun, just pushes for fun the entire time, it actually has a pretty compelling call to adventure, and I really like it. I think it would be a disjustice if I did not mention Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter and how they have literally the perfect chemistry ever for a dynamic duo in this movie. When I think of like classic dynamic duos in movie history, first I think of like Jules and Vincent in Pulp Fiction, just because I think that those guys are a fantastic duo. But I believe that like Bill and Ted, these guys are fantastic, and a lot of that is due to Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter just having the perfect chemistry ever. It seems like they're having genuine fun when they're working together, and they really are these people with their one-liners and just the way that they word things and how they do their little guitar thing. Like, it's so fun. And Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter, I think, really got the concept of this movie is not meant to be taken seriously. This is a really fun film about two guys who happen to go through a time-traveling journey and also just want to rock out as their band Wild Stallions. They perfectly grabbed that concept and they reflected that on screen. Something I've really enjoyed about Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, even from the time that I first watched this movie as a little kid with my family, I really enjoyed the phone booth and how they travel through time in this phone booth. And I know that could be seen as a little bit of like ripping off Doctor Who a little bit with like the police box that they have over there. But I don't know. I like this. I think it's unique. I think it's a really cool mode of transportation to go through time. And I'm sure that the actual time traveling in the movie, there's probably some flaws with that. And it's, time travel is always weird. And there's always someone on the internet who, like, debunks everything about it and how it actually couldn't have happened. But you know what? Time travel doesn't exist anyways. And I don't know if it ever will. I don't think it ever would. So why do we have to debunk the laws and theories of how this time travel, it doesn't add up and things contradict themselves? And I just think that's stupid. So I'm sure it has issues, but I like the idea of them traveling in the phone booth. I always have. An aspect of the movie that really adds into the fun nature of the movie is when Bill and Ted are collecting the historical figures and just the historical figures themselves. I really, really love, one of my favorite scenes in the movie is when they're collecting Socrates and they keep calling him Socrates, and Bill, when they're looking at him like trying to figure out who he is, Bill just looks at Ted and says,
"Let's bag him." Yeah.
And then they go up there and then they philosophize with him, and that's where the classic line of dust, wind. Dude, I love that line so much. It's so funny, and it makes me laugh every time I watch it. It doesn't get old. And of course, I have to mention the actual report that they give. This report is so cool. I was watching this with my family last night, and when we were watching it, my dad was just like, you have to admit, that report is really cool. And I was like, yeah, it really is. Like, it's like a full-on production that they do. And I don't know. It's so fun. It brings a smile on my face. This is what the movie does. This movie literally just brings a smile on my face no matter how many times I watch it. Now, I do have a couple issues with this movie, and actually it's really just one big issue that I'll kind of just lump in together. It's just that I don't really find the subplots super entertaining, and it's not that I, like, hate them and wish that they weren't there. because they do provide some level of entertainment, but it's just that the fact that, like, I care a lot about Bill and Ted actually collecting the historical figures, and so when I see them venture off and go flirt with these princesses, and I know they're a pretty integral part of the story, especially later on in Bogus Journey, and I haven't seen Bill and Ted Face the Music yet, but I assume that they're a pretty big part in Bill and Ted Face the Music. I don't know, but I don't know, I just don't really like that subplot because I want to get back to more Bill and Ted action, and I feel like with that they're more focused on like the royal princess babes rather than they are the actual plot of the story. I also don't find the Napoleon subplot super great either. Again, it's not that I hate it and wish it wasn't there, because it does provide some form of entertainment, and I do like the scene of the Ziggy Piggy scene where Napoleon is eating all of this ice cream. But everything else is really, I can take it or leave it. All that being said, I think Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is a pretty great movie. I am going to give it a B+. I think that's a pretty fair grade. I like this movie because it's just fun, and it doesn't feel the need to be serious. It knows what it is, and it has fun, and it'll bring a smile on your face, and it'll make you laugh when you watch it. And I'm super excited to see Bill and Ted Face the Music. This isn't one of the best, trilogies or like movie series that you've ever seen in your entire life, but it's definitely one that you can get excited about when there's a new movie in the series that is coming out, like Bill and Ted Face the Music. I'm super excited to watch that, but I would not hold this over, something like Star Wars or something like Back to the Future or the Godfather trilogy. That's going to do it for this review. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw here, please subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications when new videos are posted. Leave me a like, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. Recommend a movie to me that maybe I can watch in the future and review. But for now, the review is now concluded.